This is Renelle, and welcome to Quality Hang with Rod Brooks and friends. And here he is now, your host, my main man, Rod Brooks.
Thank you very much, Renelle. I am Rod Brooks, and welcome everyone to Quality Hang. As always, I'm joined in this broadcasting adventure by my friend, your friend, my partner in crime, the co-host of Quality Hang. He is Marcus Osborne. What up, dog? How you doing?
What's happening, man? Chilling on a Thursday night. Thinking about what could have been.
What do you mean?
Well, I got to a conversation with a friend of mine today, and we talked about just like careers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I wish I could have done more of is write. Like I wish I could. I don't know if we ever talked about this, but at my core, I'm a writer. Like that's my base for everything is writing. So I always expected to do more of that than broadcasting. I ended up as a broadcaster, but writing is my thing. And I'd love to have been a sports columnist, or I did movie reviews and I did music reviews for the Oakland Tribune for a couple of years, which is cool, but you couldn't really like get your shit off when you're doing like, you know what I'm saying? When you do, I got four.
You can give your opinion, but you're not supposed to make a review about yourself, right?
Yeah, you can't get into it.
Right.
I mean, I'm sitting here reviewing Ludacris and Too Short and Harry Connick Jr., which is fun, but you basically get like one column. But that one column I had to review like 4 CDs at a time, so you don't really get loose like you can as a sports columnist, you know?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's funny. We sort of had the opposite ambitions. Writing always intimidated me. I'm very comfortable in front of a microphone. I'm very comfortable and always have been in front of cameras. Writing, the thing about writing, what intimidated me about it is not that I couldn't do it, but just the personal nature of writing. You know what I mean? It just it seems like, and maybe this is a terrible metaphor, but like it's it's the difference between shooting someone and stabbing someone. Both are weapons of destruction. But when you shoot somebody, it's a lot less personal. You just kind of bah. Not that I've ever shot anybody or stabbed anybody. This is just what I'm imagining in my head. But when you stab somebody, like it's more close, right? You just kind of get in, you jug them. Writing intimidated me from that standpoint because it just felt, again, so personal. And growing up, we being, kids of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the written word was very important, and newspapers were important, and magazines were important, and those people who commanded your attention with the written word, they were so good at it. And I never felt like I could get anywhere near that. And I mean, I guess the best way to put it is I was just afraid to do it, because a good writer it used to be anyway, it used to be gold. Bad writing will almost piss you off, So I was just like, all of that is, and I know I'm in my own head about it. I was in my own head about it. So yeah, right. So when it was kind of time to decide, when I was in college, okay, now which way do you want to go? Now, kids, this is back when a future in journalism meant that you actually had a future in journalism and you could go in different directions. Nowadays, that's as dead as Napoleon. But back in the late 1900s, when it came time for me to decide, did I want to write, or did I want to talk, or did I want to be in front of a camera? It was easy for me to not make the decision to be a writer because I guess I did it. I still do. I guess I felt like I could never be up to that standard of being a good or a great writer. And same thing with play-by-play. Never, ever, ever in my life considered doing play-by-play because, again, those people are damn good at their jobs. And again, that's another very personal thing.
Yeah.
Great play-by-play is transcendent. Bad play-by-play literally pisses people off. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah, dude. That's a good point. I love people who play-by-play. I would love to be able to do, but I just can't. I know that I can't do that.
It's a skill set. It's a muscle that you have to develop. You have to hone it, and you have to maintain it. Those are truly gifted people.
You know, the thing that I would love to have, writing would have been great. I still love radio. I still like broadcasts. I still like audio.
Yep.
It's weird. Radio people, we always will love radio.
Yes. Yeah. Even if radio doesn't love us back, we always love radio. Yeah. Yeah. And you're 100% correct.
TV will pay you, but radio is where your love is.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing. It's personal. When people decide, and this is, I think, similar, even though, of course, there's a visual component to what we do now here on Quality Hang. But when people decide that they want to listen to you, again, it's a personal thing because listening is an active. You have to be an active participant.
Yeah, man.
You can hear something, but that's just know it. When you're listening to something, that means not only are you actually taking it in, auditorily, but you're also actually discerning what's being said. You're allowing, in essence, someone to put their voice in your head. And when there is a person or an audience that allows you to do that, I have always held that in very high regard, because people could very easily tune you out and turn you off. And when people don't do that, I just, in my career then and still now, I'm eternally grateful for people who are literally cool with listening to what I have to say.
On purpose.
On purpose. Yeah. Purpose. Actively seeking it out or being excited that it's going to come on at a certain time, Mondays and Thursdays at 8:00 here on YouTube, X, and other social media channels. So but you know what though? I think we did okay. I think we made the right decisions, or we didn't make too many wrong decisions. I think we did okay.
No complaint. No complaint.
I think we did all right.
I think other people would be envious of some of the things we've been able to see and do and say.
Yeah. I have a wall in front of me of press passes from various sports and over the course of my career, and I've done some pretty cool stuff. I've thought about maybe rearranging the room and putting all the press passes and ticket stubs from concerts and stuff I've seen, putting them on this wall behind me and moving all the trail maps and putting them on the other wall. That just takes some effort, and clearly effort I don't want to do. I just talk about it. I don't want to do it. But every time I look at this wall of press passes, I think, you know what?
Pretty cool.
That 10-year-old kid that kind of had an idea he wanted to do cover sports for a living, or be involved in sports media for a living without even knowing exactly what sports media was. If 10-year-old me could see this wall, 10-year-old me would be like, that's pretty cool though, man. So I think we did all right. We did okay.
You ever see somebody, this happens to me a lot now, I'll see somebody or somebody be talking about somebody, I'm like, I interviewed that person. Like I interviewed that.
I mean,
wow, that's a trip.
Yeah. I'll be watching television and be like, oh, I interviewed that person.
Yeah,
I met that person. Just a random celebrity. I was listening to the radio this morning, and satellite radio, and a Coolio song came on. Fantastic Voyage came on. I interviewed Coolio.
Yes,
he was at the last couple of games at Candlestick. When I was working for Fox Sports that Bay Area. I was kind of one of I wasn't necessarily a sideline reporter during the games, but pregame show, and then during the game I would do a couple of hits or whatever. But the pregame show, Coolio was there, and they like, you should interview Coolio, and I'm like, okay, sure, Coolio. Most random shit, right? Signed to baseball. It's in here somewhere. I have to find it.
The most random. I think that the most random interviews I interviewed Taylor Swift when she was 17.
Yeah, without
which
knowing.
is nice as it should. I interviewed Kelly Clarkson when she was 22.
Bob and I interviewed Tom Brady not too long after he got drafted, famously in the 6th round, coming out of Michigan by the Patriots. Bob knew Tom, being San Mateo folks, and Tom went to Sarah, where Bob Fitzgerald went to high school. So that was our end. But yeah, we interviewed Tom Brady, and we remember, talking to him, and like, oh, hey man, don't forget us, if you hit the big time.
Yeah.
With, of course, in no way, shape, or form thinking that he was going to become, if we're just going by number of Super Bowls participated in and won, the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. I'll never forget, we ended the interview and we were both just kind of like, that was cute. Like, oh man, because I remember him playing at Michigan. Like, oh, I'm glad you hooked that interview up with us. But that's probably going to be the last time we ever talk to Tom Brady. And you know what? It was the last time we talked to Tom Brady, because he came, if we're just going by number of Super Bowls participated in and won, the greatest quarterback of all time.
Jesus Christ! I can tell you, I don't know if you're comfortable saying this, but I am. Okay, the 3 most disappointing interviews I ever had. Warren Sapp, Joaquin Phoenix, and this one sucks when they say never meet your heroes, Denzel Washington.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if Denzel was like having a bad day or whatever. And I got the sense that he just came in with some disdain for radio people.
Uh-huh.
Which I realized happened a lot, and you kind of almost have to let him know, like, no, we're not one of those kind of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember Tommy Davidson in Living Color fame. I remember Tommy Davidson coming in to the KMBR studios, and there was a computer where he was sitting. It was just me and him, and he was sitting to my left, and there was a computer. And while we talked, Tommy Davidson actively looked at pornography on the KNBR computer while I was interviewing him. How did I know this? Not because I was checking him out, watching. I had no idea what he was looking at. But when the interview was over, and it was a fine interview, it was really fairly unremarkable. I don't remember it. But got up to leave and shook his hand and opened the door for him, and he left. I turned back around to go back to my seat, and there was porn on the computer.
Nice.
Well.
That takes a ball.
Yeah.
I had a time with
I'm pretty sure I'll think of more interesting and mind-blowing interviews that I had. The most disappointing was Don King. Like,
really?
Don King was, and I wasn't expecting,
Well, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
He's kind of a jerk.
Yeah. He was.
When the lights come on and the camera and the mics turn on, he comes to life. He's kind of a dick.
That's what it was. He was borderline, if not completely surly, before the mics went on, and then the mics went on, and it was only in America, all that kind of bullshit, and the lights went off. And again, I wasn't expecting anything of him, but to see that phoniness in action, right there in my face, was probably it just dawned on me. I don't know if I could call it an interview, because it was more of a press gaggle, but Tommy Lasorda, when he was the manager of the Dodgers, just a random Dodger Astros game, and I was just starting in radio, and basically they would give you a tape recorder and a microphone and just send, and you just stick a microphone in people's faces at a press gaggle and have them talk. So Tommy Lasorda, and again, I'm 22 years old, and I can't believe I'm doing this, anyway. And not that Tommy Lasorda was a hero of mine, but Tommy fucking Lasorda, right?
Yeah, especially he was legendary.
Legendary status. Anyway, so we all go into his very cramped manager's office in the old Astrodome, and it's no bigger than this room, and this room is not very big. And Tommy Lasorda is in there, and he is stripped down to his, remember baseball players and coaches used to wear stirrup socks, but under them they had the white sanitary socks.
Yes,
he had the white sanitary socks on, and they were just like white, like compression. They weren't even called compression shorts back then, but like these white tights, basically sliding, like he was actually going to play. He was wearing sliding tights and no shirt. And he had in front of him a giant plate. It was almost, it's almost stereotypically comical giant plate of Alfredo pasta in front of him. And when I say that pasta
That's hilarious,
that high on the plate, like it was borderline racist how much pasta he had on that plate, right? And so the problem is that when the TV cameras were in there, Tommy Lasorda was baseball Tommy Lasorda, giving out great quotes and all that kind of stuff. TV cameras left. He could not have been more of a bigger asshole. And so radio guys are still in there trying to get sound, and he knows full well what he's doing. He's shoveling this pasta into his mouth in almost a cartoonish way and talking while eating. We can't use any of that audio. And he knew it. And he knew what he was doing. So, to me being a young, naive kid, I was just like, oh, it sucks that you would do that. Like, okay, the TV thing, because, your face is going to be on TV, that would be obviously in bad form. But when the cameras leave, now you don't give a shit. And now you're being disrespectful to me and the other radio guys who just simply try to do our jobs. So from that point on, it was always F the Dodgers. But from that point on, it was always F the Dodgers and Tommy Lasorda. So when Tommy Lasorda went ass over tea kettle in that All-Star game in Seattle where he fell down, did I enjoy it? Yes.
Classic.
Let's get into the show. My goodness, we're just a couple of chatty patties here, and we have yet to thank our presenting sponsor, the fine folks at Hop Monk Taverns. 3 locations to choose from: Sonoma, Sebastopol, and in Novato. And at all 3 locations, they all do the same great things. Things plural. Fantastic food from a wildly diverse menu, a craft beer selection that is absolutely out of this world, and what they have as far as shows and live entertainment at Hop Monk is just as diverse as the beer they pour and the food that they serve. And what I absolutely love about Hop Monk and how they get down as far as entertainment is concerned, it's a place for touring acts around the country to stop by here in the Bay Area, North Bay specifically, but it's a great place for local folks, local artists to be seen. And I think nurturing that local scene, that's what Dean Biersch and the folks at Hop Monk do, I think, better than anyone. And really, no matter what you're looking for, it's eclectic. You're going to find something that you like. And it's not just musicians that come through. They have open mic comedy nights, country line dancing nights, trivia nights. Anything you're looking for, you can find it at all 3 Hop Monk locations as far as live entertainment is concerned. So to see what they have coming up and at their venues, check them out online at hopmonk.com. Nowadays, probably the best thing to do is follow them on all relevant social media platforms, but you cannot go wrong by stopping by one of the 3 fine Hop Monk locations in Sonoma, Sebastopol, and in Novato. All right, let's get into it. Steve Kerr, he met with the Golden State Warriors brass this week, and no decision, Marcus, made by either party as of yet. They met this week, went their separate ways from what I've been told, or what I read, pardon me. Steve Kerr is on a golfing trip, and they will reconvene and talk more this week. So my question to you, Marcus, and I'll throw this out here to the folks in the chat, the Quality Hangers getting active per usual in the chat.
Sweet.
So we are a couple of weeks out from the end of the regular season. And what was thought to be a quick decision, stay or go, by Steve Kerr or the Warriors, has now gone into its second week and maybe beyond. So my question to you, Marcus, is this a case of no news being good news, meaning the longer this takes, the better chance it is that Steve Kerr comes back? Or is it the opposite? Does that mean that no news and the longer this takes means it's bad news and Steve Kerr is not coming back, whether it's his own decision or whether the Warriors have decided to move on and the Warriors are going to have a new coach for this upcoming season for the first time in, 15 years, somewhere along those lines?
Pretty close at 12, 13 years. Dude, that's a good question. I guess that comes down to whether or not you think there's value in bringing Steve Kerr back. Then your perspective on that question will change. I, as an unabashed Steve Kerr supporter, I would love to see him back. I know that there are some circumstances that he would like to see changed, and that apparently the ownership would like to see changed. But when you got a guy like that, and you got a guy who essentially steered a team that ended up winning 37 games.
Yes.
No business winning that many games. Like,
yes.
If we're being honest about it, no business winning many games. And none of them hated each other at the end of the season. Steered them through like the injuries, the Kuminga BS, all that stuff. And everybody still seemed connected at the end of the year. And from my standpoint, if you can get that kind of guy who he didn't suddenly become stupid, but I think Steve Kerr is the kind of guy that if you give him the talent, he will make it work.
Yeah.
And so I guess from my standpoint, no news is good news. To answer your question, probably if as a guy who is a supporter of Steve Kerr, but who knows, right?
He probably, if you're Steve Kerr, I would think the conversations are fascinating between Kerr and, let's just say Kerr and Lacob, to just sort of, singularly personified with those guys, that Steve Kerr's saying, give me a little bit more to work with, knowing that you're going to get Jimmy Butler back and Steph's coming back. Draymond more than likely is going to, if Steve come back, Draymond Green comes back. If he doesn't come back, I think Draymond Green is wearing another uniform at some point in time next year. Steve says, give me a little bit more talent, or talent that fits what I want to do.
Yeah.
Joe Lacob and the Warriors would say, well, we need you to kind of change the way you do things, not wholesale changes, but maybe make some small yet important changes, and have that fit in with the talent that we will provide you. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be an interesting back and forth sort of, dynamic between what Steve Kerr wants and how he wants to do his job, and how the Warriors want him to do his job with the players that they have given him and plan on giving him so he can do his job.
Yeah. I mean, it's also going to depend a lot on whether or not you want to continue to build the team around a 39-year-old all-world point guard. Because if Steph is there, you ain't changing the system. Like, that's just what it is. And if you want Steve Kerr to change the system, then Steph probably won't be there. I don't think Steph will stick around he doesn't seem like a selfish player, and I don't think it would be selfish of him to say, I don't want to play in a system where I'm not featured. At this point, I don't think that would be selfish.
Here's another part, and I know you poo-poo this, and I don't, understandably so. But I wonder what the discussion is in terms of Giannis and possibly LeBron and old boy down with the Clippers. I'm now blanking on his name, Kawhi Leonard. I wonder what the discussion is. Does Kerr want any of those guys? Does he not see any of them as a fit? Does he see one of them in particular as a fit? Are the Warriors saying we can get this for you? Are they serious about it? Do they have a plan in place? I think they do. Now, is that plan going to be enough to get one of those three guys that I mentioned? I don't know, but I wonder how that factors. It has to on some level, right? To be a part of the discussion, because whether it happens or not, or whether it's good for the team or not, I think anyone who pays attention to the Warriors and the NBA, full well that Joe Lacob is desirous to get one of those guys, maybe one more than the other. And I think that one more than the other
has been, right?
And I think that one more than the other would be Giannis. But I think it would be foolish to think that that's not a part of the discussion that's being had between Kerr and Lacob.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a really good point about Lacob. Lacob loves him some stars. Since the day he took that team over, he has chased stars. I remember him going after, as soon as he got the team, he was going after Dwight Howard when Dwight Howard was a free agent. Literally one of the first things he did.
That's always
guy.
That's right.
And so that's going to be a thing. And listen, my feeling is this from a practical standpoint. I don't think it serves the team's long-term goals at all by bringing in one of those guys. I don't think it helps him at all.
Yeah, but if you're Steve Kerr and you're trying to win now and you're trying to maximize what you have with Steph.
But here's the thing that I keep saying with this is like you still ultimately end up hurting the team because that money to have all those guys, nobody taking a pay cut.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have Jimmy Butler getting 50 mil, Steph getting 60 mil, and then Giannis getting 60 mil or 55 mil, or Kawhi, who's probably making the least of all those guys.
Well, I know about 27.5 million that you don't have to have on the books if he's no longer with your team.
yeah. You can even get rid of Draymond, but it's still he's only 27 million. You still got these guys. Each one of those guys is making twice as much as Draymond, which means you're hampered by the salary cap, and you don't have the pieces to fill up around those guys.
Yeah, but again,
and all these guys are injured regularly.
Yeah,
all of them.
Oh, yeah.
How many games did Giannis play this year or in the last 2 years?
Well, but I think this year was real funky because of just how the Bucks spiraled. At the end,
100%.
It seemed he wanted to play, but they didn't want him to play, and all sorts of.
He's still injured
nonsense.
a lot, like the past 2 years. He's missed a lot of games.
Yeah, but I'll take an injured Giannis over. Put it this way: an injured Giannis over injured Kristaps Porzingis, and obviously they're not the same caliber of player, but
of course,
I think that if this is going to be the last swing at going deep in the playoffs and the remote chance of getting to the finals and winning the finals, I would take the chance. Me personally, I would take the chance on LeBron, not so much, but Giannis and Kawhi. I'd take the chance on one of those two guys and filling out my roster, on the fringes with whatever I can afford, and just saying come with me. Because again, you only have a couple of more years of Steph left, just in terms of playing at a high level. Steve Kerr, if he does come back in this hypothetical scenario, is probably going to only be there for 3 years, however the length of time that Steph is there. So for me, I would do sort of the all-in thing, knowing that Joe Lacob is desirous to do the superstar sort of all-in thing. I would do that all-in thing and just be like, let's rock. Let's see how this works.
I just think they do nothing, but that's not. Those players aren't going to get them a championship. I don't. They
but not. Yeah, I mean, but okay. But what's
and let me just say this: my big issue with that is we are prolonging the inevitable for something that's nothing but a gigantic maybe if we get lucky.
I know that, but I'd rather prolong that inevitable with the last 2 to 3 years of Steph Curry and Steve Kerr and maybe Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. I would rather prolong that inevitable. I'm okay with me personally. I'm okay with kicking that can down the road. I understand what you said. You got to get younger. You got to get cheaper. And, everybody wants athletic wings, but those are hard to get. Ain't nobody giving them away. But if you have a chance to get a difference maker, and Giannis and Kawhi and LeBron to a lesser degree, but still a difference maker, if you have a chance to get a difference maker and maximize the end of this run, the end of the road, me personally, I would do it. But again, it ain't my team.
Yeah,
so I'm not thinking about the future because the future don't concern me because it ain't my team.
And I wouldn't be mad about those guys being there. I mean, I feel like having Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Kristaps, and then filling it around, I think that's a team that's going to be fairly pretty good if everybody's healthy. That's going to be a pretty good team no matter what. I just think about what the fuck are you going to have to give up? More draft picks? They can't afford. They can't keep affording to do that. They don't have the money. I just feel like it's.
But again, that's why it's so easy for me to say because it ain't my team, they ain't my draft picks. Give them away.
You know what? If Steph Curry was younger, then I'd be like, yeah.
No, I get it. I understand what you're saying. So again, the scuttlebutt is that Kerr and the Warriors will meet again next week, and a decision should be coming after that. And I think Antonio brings up the best point. If Steve wasn't coming, you think he would have made his choice known by now. I subscribe to that theory, but until we know, we don't know. I mean, that's just where we are at this point. Let's get to the NBA playoffs that are hot as fish grease at this point. Man, tonight, woo, boy. Let me tell you something. I've seen a lot of basketball. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've never seen, no one has seen it, what the Hawks put forth in front of women and children here in the great United States of America. The Hawks had a 2-1 series lead against the New York Knicks. They lost 3 straight games. Each loss worse than the last. And this last loss that finished off the series and have sent the Hawks to the dustbin of this season and has propelled the Knicks to the Eastern Conference semifinals. This loss was the worst. Literally the worst. The Hawks got Peter rolled tonight. 140-89.
Yeah.
With my public school math, that's 51 points. And let me tell you something. If you see the game, the final score does not indicate how bad it was.
I didn't know it was this bad.
It was 40-15 after the first quarter. So not only did the Hawks let the Knicks, who are playing excellent basketball, let the Knicks crack open a 40 on him in the first quarter of an elimination game at home, the Hawks scored 15 American points in an NBA playoff closeout basketball game. It was 83-36 at the half.
Goodness.
That's the largest halftime lead in playoff history. At one point in the third quarter, the deficit ballooned to 61 points. That's the largest lead in NBA playoff history. The Atlanta Hawks, Marcus, went out like Willie Lump-Lump.
I was certain that since the Hawks have the greatest difference maker in the history of basketball,
settle down,
that this was a foregone conclusion that they'd sail on into the semis. That's just me. Now, I don't personally believe that a 6th or 7th man is that big a difference maker, but I've been wrong before.
Marcus, of course, referencing Jonathan Kuminga, who was a minus 40. If plus minus is your thing.
Damn,
was minus 40.
I
All the Hawks.
Game, by the way.
Well, you didn't miss anything but a right ass kicking.
Yeah.
The Knicks have moved on to the second round of the NBA playoffs. Who will the Knickerbockers play? Well, we don't know at this point, but we do know this. The saxophones are getting louder for the Boston Celtics.
This is crazy.
Boston Celtics had a 3-1 lead.
This is crazy.
Had a closeout game 5 at the crib and biffed it. And they biffed game 6 tonight in Philly. 113-97. What was a 3-1 series lead for the Boston Celtics is now a winner go home. Game 7 coming up this weekend. Joel Embiid, since he's come back, giving him all sorts of hell. Embiid had 33 points in game 5. 19 and 10 tonight. But here's the thing with the Celtics. They are, as great as Jason Tatum's comeback has been, as well as Jaylen Brown has played.
Yeah.
The Celtics are, we just going to jack up a bunch of threes. And when they go in, we're damn near unbeatable. When they don't go in, they don't win. Now, check this out. Game 1, Celtics win it. They shot 16-44 from 3, 36%. Take that. Game 2, they lost it. They shot 13-50. They took 53s today. They shot 13-50 for a robust 26%. Game 3, they won it. They shot 12-35, 34%. Game 4, they won it. Shot 24 of 53, 53 threes. Good God. 53. That's 45%. Game 5, they lost it. 11-39, 28% from 3. Game 6, tonight, they lost it. 12 of 41, 29% from 3. The Warriors, it wasn't like that, but the Warriors' success was predicated on threes. Rockets did it, didn't win anything. Now the Celtics have won a title, but this is the most extreme example I've seen of a team literally living and dying by the three.
This is a choice that I don't understand, and people love to credit the Warriors for this. But the one thing folks really misunderstand about that Warriors team that was really in the middle of that run, it was Steph and Clay shooting the threes.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't the entire team jacking up 28-footers. It was Steph and Clay.
It wasn't their entire get down. They were just good at it, and which, of course, with those two being, Steph's the greatest shooter of all time. Clay is on that list, and you could be, missing a couple of fingers, and he'd still, be in that group.
Yeah.
It made sense for them to take those threes. I think with the Rockets and now with the Celtics, it doesn't make sense for some of those guys to take those threes.
It's not an efficient shot unless you're good at it.
No.
I don't want guys who shoot 33, 34% jacking up threes. I don't need that. That means you should just stick to shooting twos.
Yeah.
Get in the paint, get some mid-range action. That's far more efficient. This idea that everybody's going to be able to shoot threes is insane, and it's taken over the league, which is also one of the problems with the league right now.
It's crazy that this is the Celtics ethos, and they're just going to live and die with it. And and this kind of goes back to Steve Kerr and his stubbornness. We saw the Warriors do that this year without Steph, but they were jacking up way too many goddamn threes.
Way too many.
Guys who didn't need to be shooting threes.
Way too many.
Like Guy Santos and Brandon Pajewski. But again, I think with Steve Kerr, he was like, well, I don't really have much that I could go with anyway, so I'm just going to see
that was his deal.
If we could just hit the spam threes button over and over again. So it was almost out of desperation, even if the idea was somewhat flawed. With the Celtics, and again, they won damn near 60 games, if not in the 60s. Obviously a good basketball team, but it's crazy that they can have the talent they have on that team and still be like, okay, we're just going to live and die with the three. It's at some point, a plan B has to be in the mix.
Yeah.
And the Rockets didn't have that. That's why they didn't win shit when they were spamming all those threes. And the Celtics, even though they have won a title, it's going to come down to, in Game 7, what's their 3-point percentage like? If you can tell me what the 3-point percentage is going to be like, I can guarantee you whether they're going to win or lose it. We've seen it already.
It's almost like people forget that defenses are better in the postseason, and it's very easy to get people during the regular season with shooting a bunch of threes. People get too much time to prepare for you and be ready for you, and then eat your shit up in the perimeter. You just be jacking up threes by guys who shoot 34% from three. Come on, man. I wouldn't
mind watching the Celtics blow this. I wouldn't mind watching them blow a 3-1 lead, and I damn sure won't mind it if the Los Angeles Lakers blow a 3-0 series lead, as the Rockets have climbed back into this series, and what should be really a 3-2 series lead for the Rockets is a better situation, but not optimal, a 3-2 series deficit to the Lakers. But you can clearly see that the Lakers are I don't know if shook is the word, but I think they realize that they are in trouble and might be, to a certain extent, Marcus, powerless to do anything about it. I mean, if the Rockets could have found a way to not blow a 6-point lead in less than the shot clock's length of time, we'd be talking about the Lakers being on the verge of getting kicked out of the playoffs. And what do they do with LeBron? Because for 3 games, with the exception of the end of Game 3, the Rockets have been clearly the superior basketball team.
Yeah, you can see it. And I don't know what – and without Kevin Durant, by the way. It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's very strange that it feels like they play better without Durant, but they're not going to be able to live without him. But it feels like they play better without him.
Yeah, I was on with Paul and Tony. Shout out to Paulie Max Particles, the PMP Army. It was so much fun today, and we were talking about this. It would be, of course, ridiculous to say that the Rockets are a better team without Kevin Durant. But I think without Kevin Durant, that's a Rockets group that can say, you know what? Last year, we won 52 games and went to the playoffs, got bounced out in the first round, but it was because of Buddy Hield went wild. We won 52 games, went to the playoffs, couldn't shoot without Kevin Durant. What did they do this year? 52 games in the playoffs, and you don't have Kevin Durant. So I think for Jabari Smith and Amen Thompson, and I think that Rockets collective, they look around and go, yeah, we're missing 30 points from a great player and a guy that it makes the game easier for everybody else because of the attention he commands, and talking about Kevin Durant. But we still are the best defensive team, one of the best defensive team in the league. We're the best offensive rebounding team in the league. We have length. We have athleticism. We have youth that the Lakers don't have. That's not going anywhere. They're not going to get older. They're not going to get smaller. They're not going to get less athletic. They're not going to stop offensive rebounding, which of course leads to extra possessions and second chance points. So I think the Rockets, while the situation is not optimal for them, it's not a situation that they're unfamiliar with dealing with. And everybody knows this in sports and in life. Confidence is everything. And if you know that you can do something, it almost doesn't matter the circumstances. And I think that's the world that the Rockets are living in right now. If we get more possessions than the Lakers and we hit a few more shots, because you're getting baskets now from Jabari Smith, you're getting baskets from Reed Shepherd. If we get extra possessions and makes a couple of shots, you can beat this Laker team. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Let's see if they can keep it up. I mean, that offense is very, very sometimey. But like
I said, they get the extra possessions. They get the offensive rebounds, and now they're going back to Houston, where you would think that they would play well, being young players in their home gym. And I think Reed Shepherd got a lot of confidence after what he was able to pull off last night, hitting buckets, steal off LeBron, the dunk, not backing down when LeBron threw the chicken wing at him. This is a confident Rockets group because they know they have the tools to beat this Laker team because of their defense, because of their athleticism and length and their offensive rebounding. And they have the confidence of knowing we just play the way that we've been playing for 3 straight games. We can win this thing in 7, no matter where it's played. Of course, it's going to be in LA.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is kind of a show me what you got moment for Ime Udoka. I think Ime Udoka has to show that, you know what, you are one of the elite coaches, and this is your opportunity. Listen,
I want that dude to just stay out the way, dog. I don't need Ime Udoka trying to do anything. Let these dudes go out there and play with the confidence that they have. Leave them. Don't try to get in there and try to do something like all of a sudden now I'm gonna coach. I mean, bro, just stay over there and just keep calling people bitches. Just I don't need him trying to coach. I need him staying the F out the way.
Okay? Yeah, he stay calling people bitches, boy.
He love calling people bitches. Pistons in trouble. They got a game 7 coming up against game 6, coming up against the Magic tomorrow. Cleveland, Toronto, another game 6. That's coming up tomorrow as well. So that should be a fun Friday. San Antonio took care of business, and not surprisingly, the Thunder took care of business. And it is
on our boy Wemby's back about him crying, which is weird to me.
Crying about what?
Because he won the series, and that's his first playoff series.
Oh, did he cry after that? I mean, listen, you know how I feel about crying. It makes me uncomfortable when men cry, so I don't want to see it. I have hard and fast rules when it comes to crying in sports. And you can cry when you win a championship. You can cry when you lose a championship. You can cry when you retire. But if you retire multiple times, you can only cry once.
You only get one time.
You can cry if you have a compound fracture. Okay. Can't cry because you're hurt. You can only cry because you have a compound fracture, right? To me, that's tears. Anything else, as far as I'm concerned, you're violating man rules. So I didn't know that Wemby was crying, but he's just a different. Remember what I told you though. I told you the beginning of his supervillain story was when Steph hit that shot on him and he was crying on his mama's shoulder in that gold medal game in the Olympics. Remember? I told you that, right?
Yeah, he's French. So do we give him a hall pass? They're very sensitive.
But man, I tell you what, Wemby and Joker, I need that in the second round. And by the way, I was just going to give you the update here. Let me get the score as they just went to commercial, so I don't have it in front. It's hot in Minnesota right now. We just had a little testosterone presentation that Jokic was involved in. But right now, let me get the score here real quick. If you folks will just give me 1 second to click over and find the score. 91-87 with 7:45 left to go. The Timberwolves on top and looking to close out this series. Timberwolves, no Ant Edwards, no Dante DiVincenzo, pardon me, and no Ayu Dosunmu. He did not play tonight, and he's been a revelation for them over the last couple of games. So this was all pointing to, Marcus, the Timberwolves just kind of rolling up into a ball. But, I mean, they have come out tonight, and they have been absolutely feisty. So Wemby and Joker, as a basketball fan, that's what I want to see. But the Timberwolves do not want to give me what I want. They are game, and right now they are still a long way to go, but they are in control and looking to get the Nuggets up out of here. And Spurs Timberwolves will be that Western Conference semifinal series.
I mean, yeah, if they win this thing, Rudy Gobert is your MVP.
I mean, hey man, your boy Gobert has been doing a hell of a job on Jokic.
Because Jokic, to me, is just literally one of the most unstoppable players in the NBA. And for my money, I think he's the best player in the NBA. And he puts up video game numbers every single night. And the fact that Gobert, I guess I can call him by his regular name now.
He's earned you calling him by his regular name. I mean, listen, that's a big step because you do not like Rudy Gobert. So for you to actually call him Rudy Gobert, that's, you know what that is, Marcus? That's growth. That's what that is.
It's what I do. It's what I do. I'm willing to give the man his props, man. Anybody who can get there and go toe to toe with the Joker and for all intents and purposes, shut the dude down. I mean, it's not the scoring; it's everything else that Joker does that murders you. And Gobert has kept Joker from being the X factor.
But here's what's been the problem for the Nuggets tonight. Jokic is slow in the first half, only had 9 points. Second half, he's got 18 points. He had 6 assists in the first half, 3 assists here in the second half. So Jokic is being more aggressive because he could see the sand, going through the hourglass. And he's the best player on that team. The problem for the Nuggets tonight is they're getting absolutely nothing out of Jamal Murray. At this point in the game, he is 4 of 15 and has only taken 1 3 and hasn't been to the free throw line tonight. So Terrence Shannon is doing an absolute job on Jamal Murray. And that unless he starts to uncork a couple of big buckets here late, it is Jaden McDaniels is the one that's given Murray all sorts of fits. But unless he uncorks a couple of buckets here in the last 7 minutes of this game, I don't know if Jokic is going to be able to do it by himself or if he'll have enough time to do it by himself.
Yeah, it's weird. He is typically a guy who I expect to do well in crunch time. So
So we'll keep you updated with that, and I think we'll stay on for the length of this game unless it goes into super duper quadruple duper overtime. But these NBA playoffs so far so good. I think the first couple of games at the beginning were kind of but as we've gotten deeper here into this first round, I mean, I don't know if I can even consider the OKC Suns series and the Trailblazers Spurs series duds because those two teams are just so superior to their respective opponents, the Suns and the Trailblazers, that was just kind of almost automatic. But every other series, I mean, has been or either is fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm very happy with the way all this is turning out, and hopefully we have. This is where reputations are made. This is where you find your next superstar. The NBA is always in search of it. This is where you find them in the postseason. Is it going to be SGA? Is it going to be Wemby? We shall see.
Yeah. We shall see. Let's do some on this date. We here at Quality Hang, we're history buffs. All right. Well, I'm a history buff. I'm not going to speak for Marcus. So we have a just a history laden, not just sports history, but U.S. history laden on this date today. And I think that this first on this date, what happened on this date, April 30th, this is the deepest we've gone in the year that we've been doing Quality Hang, and we've been finishing the show with on this date. This is the deepest in history we've gone, but this is a big day because on this date, all the way back in 1803, for $15 million, the United States doubled the size of its young nation by completing the Louisiana Purchase.
Yes.
For $15 million. France was having some cash flow issues. Some guy named Napoleon, and I think had gotten them in all sorts of trouble. So France needed the bread.
Money went to the thrift shop. Went to the pawn shop. Pawn just fucking
shit was going down. France needed some bread. The United States was like, I mean, shit, man. How much you want for that for Louisiana? And France was like,
what?
France was like, dude, no deal. Man, we'll give it to you for $15 million. And the U.S. is like, shit, that's a lot of money, but it's a lot of land. And so the U.S. is like, man, you know what? That's light work, baby. We the United States of America. We with the 13 colonies just kicked the ass of George I and the entire the British Empire. United States say, you know what, France? You know you beefing with England too. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's $15 million. We'll take Louisiana, the Louisiana Territory, and that's how the Louisiana Purchase. And by the way, that is an actual faithful representation of the conversation between the United States and France. That's exactly how it went down on this date, April 30th, 1803. There you go. It was basically like a drug deal.
It's absolutely a drug deal. Of course it
was. So there you go. On this date in 1803, the Louisiana Purchase was completed. We stay on the American history. It was really a world history thing. But on this date in 1945, Adolf Hitler did the world a favor and offed himself with his old lady, Eva Braun, after being married for less than 40 hours. Wow. What a honeymoon. Will you marry me? Yes. All right, now we got to kill ourselves, because if we don't, the Russians are going to do it, and it's not going to be fun. So effectively, World War II ended on this date, April 30th, 1945, as Adolf Hitler and his broad, Eva Braun, did the world a favor and took them out before the Russians did it for him.
Yeah, I mean, he knew that whoever found him was going to pull a bullet in him anyway. Like, he had no shot.
The Russians were breathing down his neck. He knew. He did not want to. After what they put the Russians through, and then what the Russians did to get all the way to Berlin, he wanted nothing to do with the Russians, because that would have been bad. But you see what they did? He didn't see, but you heard what they did to Mussolini. All right,
they don't be playing.
Hey man, listen, you don't want to have your genitals stuffed in your mouth. All right. You don't ever want to go down like that, brother.
unless you choose that and you have that ability. Then,
most people don't choose that. I'm pretty sure Mussolini didn't choose it. And I'm pretty sure Hitler did not want to go out like that.
And you know what? All this could have been avoided if only people like Hitler's artwork. It's just how the world. It's just how the world can change. He's on one simple thing.
That's like you hear people say, if I could go back in time, I would stop Hitler. I would kill Hitler. It's like you ain't got to get your hands dirty. All you got to do is go all the way back and buy a painting from him.
Buy a painting. That's it. All this gets avoided. 6 million people are alive.
World War II never happens if somebody would have just bought one of his watercolors.
One of them pieces of shit. One of them. You know what had to be? You can't even get your mama or your auntie or somebody to buy your shit. Like all the rest of us, we have our shitty art.
Or if they would have killed him in prison. One of those two. Either way. But I think the easiest thing to do would have been just like, yeah, fine, buddy. I'll take your stupid painting. Fine.
Yeah. I'll put it on the fridge.
Or you know what? If it's like Charles Manson, if they would have just let Charles Manson be one of the monkeys, the Manson murders would have never happened.
Sing his shitty songs for a week or two. This is live for saving Rob.
If Capitol Records would have just given Charles Manson a record contract, Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski would still be married. So there you go, man. I tell you what, to go all the way from Hitler to Roman Polanski. I mean, I don't want to tear my rotator cuff, pat myself on the back. That's impressive.
But it works.
Okay, again, staying with history before we get into sports and pop culture. On this date in 1975, the Vietnam War ended as Saigon, which was then the capital of South Vietnam, was overtaken by the North Vietnamese Communist Army. And Saigon fell on this date. And this is one of the famous photographs of all time. And a photograph that tells you everything you need to know. And I think it's almost haunting when you look at it. But the helicopter getting the last Americans and those sympathetic to the South Vietnamese government, getting them all out before the North Vietnamese overran the city and eventually took it over, forcing Saigon to fall, in essence, forcing South Vietnam to fall, and for all intents and purposes, ending the Vietnam War on this date in 1975.
Yeah, man. As you said, the operative word is ending, not winning it.
Yes. That was not a W for the United States, not by a long shot. So, on this date, April 30th, 1975, Saigon fell, and the Vietnam War ended for all intents and purposes. All right. On this date in 1976, Rick Barry, he just went Rick Barry.
West, when Rick Barry was going off the court, somebody, I believe, on the Detroit, one of the fans, if you can call him a fan, swung at him with a cane, and Rick had to be restrained from going into the stands. You got it all going here.
Rick got a little bit upset by that last call, and we didn't see it on tape, but he really felt that he wasn't even involved in the play. He got very upset at Joe Gashue, and I think some of his players were rushing him off the court. As they did, some fan up in the stands didn't like his complaining very much, and they did take a swing at him.
Of course, someone in Detroit would swing a cane at Rick Barry during Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals.
Let's be honest, it was a pimp.
Natural interaction between a pimp and Rick Barry. Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals between the Warriors and the Detroit Pistons. Rick Barry goes after a fan in the stands who supposedly swung a cane at him. Rick being Rick.
It tickles me that little laugh that Jerry West had at the very beginning, because he can relate. Like, they're two sides of the same coin, Jerry and Rick.
Yeah.
Jerry's not as open about it, but the stories I've heard, they're pretty similar in terms of temperament.
Very similar in terms of temperament.
That's why he's laughing. He's like, I'd have done the same shit.
Very, very similar. So on this date in 1976, Rick Barry goes, Rick Barry, come on, people, this is crazy. Goes after a fan in the stands in Detroit. They've been tripping at basketball games in Detroit for a long, long time, even before the malice in the palace. On this date in 1985, the greatest football player of all time got his name called.
Fiscal 49ers select 16th pick in the first round. Wide receiver, Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley.
that shirt and tie combo with the chain on the outside of the button-up shirt, that is special. And also, that is country in a mug.
Super 80s. That's skinny tie?
Skinny tie, yeah.
That's skinny tie. And
yeah, man.
And remember, Jerry's hair was gone by what, his 5th, 6th year in the league?
Something like that. Yeah, he grew out like the flat top as best he could. And then, about 5 or 6 years.
He had those struggle braids.
Oh, when he was with the Raiders? Absolutely. Yeah, he had them Stevie Wonder braids that started halfway back. Yeah,
just come home, baby.
Come home. Yeah. But you know what, though, man, our brothers who, being lucky, not suffering hair loss. Our brothers who lose their hair, man, I get it. I understand it. You try to hang on to it for as long as you possibly can. I get it.
I tell my brother, like, dude, I can see your scalp. You might as well just come on home.
Stop fooling yourself. Come on home. Yep. I think the man's the greatest football player of all time, Jerry Rice, drafted by your San Francisco 49ers on this date, all the way back in 1985. In 1991, Boyz II Men released their debut album, Motown Philly. Cooley High Harmony. It's a classic. It's classic. Absolutely. Still holds up to this day.
Still holds up. Them mugs can sing.
Yeah, they can. Them boys can sing. They can blow. Dang, and it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. That's going to be played at proms until the sun burns out.
Yeah, dude. And, Sean Stockman has a podcast that's pretty good too.
Yes, I've heard. I've seen a couple of clips.
He that's a pretty good show, man. And I love when he has like the New Edition guys come on there and they love it.
So Boyz II Men, Philadelphia's finest, released their debut album, Cooley High Harmony, on this date in 1991. Also on this date in 1991, my favorite dunk in Michael Jordan's entire illustrious dunk-filled career.
Jordan trying to shake off.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Come on, man. Poetry in motion.
Woo! First of all, Jordan, a beautiful dismissal of the defense.
Look how high he is over Pat Ewing's outstretched arms, and the ball is above the Jerry West NBA logo. And basically the ball is at the top of the square.
Yep.
And he
that is one
bangs it on Pat.
Of the moves of the season.
I have watched this dunk hundreds of times, maybe in the low 1000s. And because the footwork you see on display, first things first. Remember we were talking last week, it was the anniversary when Jordan scored 63 points against the Celtics and how they didn't double team him. All right. They didn't deny the ball from him. That's 1986. This is 1991. First thing you notice about this video, they're double teaming Jordan all the way out beyond the 3-point line. So Starks is out there with him. I think that's Kiki Vandeweghe that comes out to just show him a little bit of double team pressure. Gets doubled there.
Jordan trying to.
Oakley comes over, cuts off the baseline. He sees 2 double teams in the span of 20 feet?
And he ain't giving the ball up.
Of course, everybody knows that. So he sees a double team at the 3-point line. All right. He sees a double team at the at the baseline as Oakley slides over. I'll move this banner here. His footwork, and I'll go all the way back to the beginning. Just watch his. Don't look at the ball. Don't look at anything above Michael Jordan's kneecaps. Watch his feet.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks.
Come on, man. Unbelievable. Just precision footwork. Precision footwork. Not a wasted, not a false step anywhere.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks.
Come on.
Oh, what a move by Jordan.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I Well, folks, when we talk about Jordan, one of the most remarkable things about Michael Jordan was his efficiency as a guard.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, for as many shots as he took, finished with a 50% career shooting percentage.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
very much so.
amazing.
Very much so. On this date, 1991, Michael Jordan tiptoes on the baseline and flushes one on Patrick Ewing. On this date in 1992.
Let me interject real quick because
yes,
I don't
please.
know if you've heard this story. I saw Patrick Ewing talking about this earlier this week. He was going to go to the Warriors. He was going to join. He was going to be on Run TMC.
Really?
When he was a free agent, he was heavily considering going to the Warriors and joining Run TMC. And he ended up, it was a conversation about how guys go from team to team now.
Right.
And the reason that he didn't was because he felt like maybe there was somebody who came to the team that he had just gotten. I can't remember who it was. It was like, well, maybe we got a shot at this. And he decided to stay with the Knicks. But he's like, no, I was really leaning towards going to join Chris Mullin, which would have made sense, and Tim Hardaway and Mitch Richmond.
Wow.
That's all they needed.
Wow.
That'd
have been hot. That'd have been hot. But here's the problem. You would have been dealing with the Lakers, obviously. The Blazers were still getting busy at that time. Rockets with Akeem were still getting busy at that time. Obviously, he didn't win a title with the Knicks, only went to one finals. But I think that if he would have come to the Warriors, it would have been intriguing. I don't know if he would have been able to get any closer to a title than he eventually, in my estimation, than he eventually did staying with the Knicks.
You get to get out of the East where Jordan was controlling everything.
Yeah, that's true. But you're gonna see him anyway. You're gonna see him at some point. No, you're right. You'll see him in the finals instead of seeing him in the semis. Right.
You got to, and that's also way better, way more firepower. The Knicks. Yes. One of the problems was they didn't really have anybody who could score.
Right.
Except for Ewing, he was literally the only guy who was like a reliable scorer.
Or when John Starks got hot.
Yeah, that's the problem. When John Starks got hot.
Because I could tell you when he wasn't hot, one of the greatest days of my life, Game 7 of the 1994 NBA Finals, John Starks, 2 for 18 from the field. Knicks lose, Rockets win, and little Rod Brooks sees his favorite basketball team wins its first of 2 NBA titles. I was able to reference both the 94 and 95 Rockets titles in the same show. Look at me being a front-running fan. Oh, did anybody notice my shirt? Olajuwon Smith.
Oh,
I'm back on that Rockets bandwagon now. On Monday, I was mad. I was hot as fish grease. I was pissed off about Game 3. Now look at me. Let's go Rockets. I am the worst kind of fan. So there we go. On this date, 1991, Jordan dunks on Ewing. On this date in 1992, the final episode of The Cosby Show aired. After 8 years and 201 episodes, the 201st episode was aired on this date on NBC in 1992. 44.5 million people watched the final episode of The Cosby Show. Do you want to know what significant historical event didn't start on this date, but was happening and raging on this date, Marcus, that maybe, and I don't think by much, maybe impacted the final viewing numbers of the final Cosby Show? Do you want to remember what happened today or was happening on this date?
1992?
Yep. Started on April 29th. The Rodney King riots.
Oh, shit. That's
the Rodney King riots were happening because they started on April 29th.
Yep.
And were happening on this day. Went for 3 days. So, yeah, final episode of The Cosby Show aired. 44.5 million people watched it. Might have been more had Los Angeles not had its uprising.
That's right.
There you go.
Jeez, you know what? It was time. Like, I remember that last season of The Cosby Show. It was not enjoyable. Raven Simone was on there now.
Yeah.
And they tried to make her the focal. There's something about the precocious little kid character, that trope drives me crazy.
So you didn't like Cousin Oliver on the Brady Bunch? You think he ruined the show?
Oh,
I know that reference is damn near half a century old, but if you know it, you know it. Just think though, Bill Cosby was one of the most popular figures in American pop culture history. Wildly still successful television show coming to an end, and he was out there drugging and raping women. And for the most part, we had no idea. No idea.
It's a damn shame. And what's like in hindsight, the irony of all of, and this is one of the things that turned me off to Cosby, was all his preaching,
self-righteous bullshit.
Yeah, like ugh. And you turn out to be a creeper, a motherfucking creeper. You could tell Eddie Murphy how to do his comedy. I mean, ugh.
Yeah. What an asshole. But on this date in 1992, we were all sad to see America's Dad and the wildly successful Cosby Show, which ran again for 8 years, 201 episodes. And that 201st and final episode aired on this date in 1992. And we finish it up with two of the most disrespectful dunks in NBA history.
Like that.
Brought to you by one singular solitary man. Actually, one Rain Man.
Oh, man. I know the Warriors are in this one. Yeah.
Wait. This is another dog that I've watched hundreds of times. So much to watch. First off, where Sean Kemp takes off from. And I hate to do this to him because we all love Chris Mullin. All right. But Chris Mullin makes the ultimate business decision, because if you look on the right side of your screen, you can see Chris Mullin. He's got his right foot in the paint and he's got his left foot out of the paint. So for a brief second, Chris Mullin thinks, as instinctively as a basketball player, I got to cut off the straight line drive to the basket. And then he realizes just as quickly, nah, I ain't doing that because it's Sean Kemp. Alton Lister, doing his job as the last line of defense, does not make the same business decision that Chris Mullin does, and Alton Lister gets disrespectfully double finger pointed at over and over again. Roll the tape and you'll see exactly what I mean. But first and foremost, watch Chris Mullin go, nah, I'm good. The hop out of the way. Nope.
Is that Billy Owens?
Oh, yeah. Wait, watch Chris Mullin hop out of the way. Wait a minute. Watch him hop out of the way. Oh, I didn't show it there. I'll run it back. Nope. The finger point's nasty.
And I think this is in the playoffs.
Yep.
And I can't believe the Warriors were upset in this series because I think the Warriors were favored. And I remember watching this series going, we gonna lose this shit.
There was a lot of athleticism out there thanks to Sean Kemp. Again, I hate to do this to Chris Mullin. Please watch him hop out of the way. Nope. Because he didn't want to catch all that, and it would have been bad for him. By the way, and again, notice I said dunks. There were two dunks that were disrespectful by Sean Kemp. Here's the second one.
Scrapes it up, goes back up, he comes. Gatling swats it away.
Pa! And then Chris Gatling daps him up.
That was so. I was so bad at him for shaking his hand. I'll never forget that. What's he shaking his hand for?
He dapped him up. I've never seen that. I had seen it before, and you haven't seen it since. I don't think in the history of the NBA, maybe even the history of basketball, has anybody gotten yammed on and then dapped up the dude that yammed on you.
Jesus Christ.
He dapped him up.
I think Chris Gatling is now serving time.
Oh, is he? Oh, word? What did he do?
Oh, he did some like fraud bullshit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he'd been in jail for a minute. I wonder if he I wonder if he got out. I was so surprised. Like Chris Gatling? Come on, man.
Damn.
Chris Gatling.
So there you go. A big on this date. Back in 1803, Louisiana Purchase was completed for $15 million. Hitler committed suicide in 1945. Saigon fell to the North Vietnamese in 1875. Rick Barry goes after a fan in the stands in 1976. Jerry Rice is drafted by the Niners on this date in 1985. Boyz II Men released their debut album, Cooley High Harmony. Jordan flushes on Ewing. Final Cosby Show aired, and Sean Kemp with 2 disrespectful dunks against the Golden State Warriors. All of that happened on this date, April the 30th.
And yeah, Chris Gatling, he is now out of jail, but he went to jail in Arizona for running an online credit card fraud scheme involving stolen card numbers and fake business transactions. Authorities said victims across the country were affected, including one business owner who lost about $90,000.
Damn. Being a kingpin is a thing of the past. Don't do crimes, kid.
Jeez.
Don't do crimes. It is, before we get to the best thing I've seen today, it is basically all over but the shouting, Marcus, in downtown Minneapolis. 43 seconds left, and the Minnesota Timberwolves have a 10-point lead, 108-98 over the Denver Nuggets. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, without their starting backcourt, Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo, and without Ayu Dosunmu, who saved their bacon a couple of games ago, without those guys, this gritty, gutty Timberwolves outfit is getting the Denver Nuggets up out of the paint, barring a Rockets Game 3-like collapse by the Minnesota Timberwolves. They will move on to the Western Conference playoff semifinals, and they will eventually face, I'm going to bring the graphic up here, they are going to face the San Antonio Spurs, or will they get the Thunder, because they're the lower seed.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So it's going to be Thunder, Timberwolves, and Rockets and Spurs, or Rockets and Lakers. Yeah, I think that's how it's going to shake out. So Nuggets about to be up out of here. So another series is coming to an end. All right, here we go. Best thing I've seen today, and we'll get out of here. And we'll get to enjoy the evening and get our weekend started, and hopefully you folks out there as well. I spend a lot of time on the internet. I see a lot of things. And at least once a day, I see something that's the best thing I've seen today. And I share it with you in hopes that it becomes the best thing you will have seen today. I mean, I don't even think I need to give this any kind of fancy sort of setup. It's nuns in New York playing basketball. Sister Mary gives it up to Sister Margaret, and she blows the layups. That stinks.
Right.
All right. So we got Sister Kathy taking it back. She's a ball hog. Get up off the rock, Sister Kathy. And now she gets trapped over there. She gives it up to Sister Ethel.
Somebody boarding
That's
hard.
Another terrible shot. Okay. So Sister Elaine, she's just holding the ball. She gets nice entry pass. Oh my goodness, Sister Susan with the lane. Okay. All right. Sister Susan with that quick first step and the layup. Okay. All right. All right. So there you go. Hey, listen, they love the game because they hooping on a rim with no net.
Yeah, man.
You gotta love the game to hoop on a rim with no net.
Yeah, man. You definitely gotta love it. And I love being outdoors. I'd rather be inside.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to what's the worst hoop experience? Hooping with no net or hooping on a double rim? Oh, didn't think I was going to ask the hard-hitting questions today, did you, Marcus? Double rim all day. Double rim's terrible.
Ugh.
Double rim make you think you John Starks in Game 7 of the 1994 NBA Finals. Make you feel like you can't make a shot.
It's unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary.
What do we need this for?
Completely unnecessary. But yeah, if you out there hooping in full nun get up and on a rim with no net, you doing it. That's love of the game right there. I respect these nuns from whatever convent they're from in New York City.
Doing it.
They out there hooping. And it looked like they're not just out there just goofing off. Like it looks like that's like their weekly nun.
Yeah.
Their nun game. Their nun run. And it's just somebody just didn't throw them a basketball, and they're like, oh, I guess we'll play ball. Like it looks like that's like you have a run at your local 24-hour fitness. That's what it looks like they do because they're wearing sneakers and everything. So shout out to those basketball playing nuns somewhere in New York City. I think that's enough. Jesus Christ, we did an hour 20 tonight. Good Lord.
Wow.
Oh my man,
We
went into extra innings like the Giants. You know what? The less we talk about the Giants day, the better. Because that is a no good, rotten day when you lose a doubleheader, both games of a doubleheader on walk-offs.
Ooh,
the last one being an extra inning game with some inexplicable the third base coaching decisions. So yeah, the less we talk about the Giants today, the better. Because it was a no bueno day for sure.
Man, that hurts
for sure. So we're gonna get on up out of here, but before we do that, as we do at the beginning of our show, we do at the end of our show. We thank our presenting sponsor, the fine folks at Hop Monk Taverns. 3 locations to choose from: Sonoma, Sebastopol, and in Novato. Great food, excellent beer, excellent live entertainment at all 3 venues. To see what they have coming up, check them out online at hopmonk.com. Follow them on all the socials. Definitely stop by their stores in either Sonoma, Sebastopol, or in Novato. I think we're done. I think that's it. I think we covered everything, right? Minnesota is definitely going to lose. 25 seconds left. Still, they're now up by 8. So I don't think a collapse is going to happen. So, Marcus, I think we did the damn thing, my brother.
like a ball.
Like a boss. Absolutely. No show on Monday, so we'll reconvene. Maybe we'll throw a show at you on Tuesday. We will definitely be back next Thursday if we're unable to do a show on Tuesday. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend. To all of those of you in the chat, all the quality hangers, we always appreciate your support. We thank you for it. We will talk to you next week. Have yourselves a fantastic evening and a fantastic weekend. And as always, be good and be good at it. We'll see you. Bye.